Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Alec StarCraft here, bringing you guys another game from this TSLInori series and another bit of analysis as to what can go wrong when you do this kind of Stephano style. Now, after this game, I'm actually going to probably, at the end, link to a VOD, or on-demand video, video on demand, whatever you want to call it, aka a cast, essentially, from somebody else that shows one more thing that the Stephano style does not necessarily work again, or at least the Stephano Max Roach style. One thing you have to keep in mind is that the Stephano style, quote unquote, is known for the 12-minute max on roaches. However, Stephano does not do that 100% of the time. Sometimes he will scout something or notice something with his mad, insane game sense for whatever reason, tells him, okay, I'm not going to go for mass roach attack. I'm instead going to grab a fourth, grab all 6 gases, start on infestors, upgrades, and just goes into a huge late game. So I'm going to link a scenario in which the 12-minute roach play will not actually work. And that situation is when your opponent gets a very early third. For those of you who might not have seen it, I'm going to link it. It's going to be Sase versus Rhett from the Red Bull training land, where Sase actually does a very cool, but of course also very risky build where he actually goes for his third base before his Cyber Core. Yeah, pretty early third base, but he does do it. And of course the problem with that, with the 12-minute Roach Max, is, you know, by 11 minutes when you start being aggressive, your opponent's economy has started to kick in and they can produce, say, like 7-gate Blink Stalker producing 2 Immortals at a time. And like, roaches cannot beat that no matter what you do with them. But anyway, here we go, guys. We're going to see what happens this game, and as I said, we see Inori, as he has done in the last 2 games, throwing down that Nexus, then throwing down that Forge, and then I think returning these minerals. He, of course, knows these timings. He's returning the minerals, sending the probe back, and knows the probe will get there right around when he has 150 minerals, and there it is. He's just about 50 minerals off, then throws down that gateway, and we're going to see him in just a second. Wait for it. Then throws down that pylon. So again, you know, 6 Zerglings would just run right in here, could decimate this probe line, especially with the micro of someone the level of Stephano. And then the cannon very late. So this time Stephano's actually going to see it. He's going to be like, holy crap, that is kind of late. But of course, it probably will not really change his play. Stephano is extremely confident in his style, and of course he should be. He's a very, very good player. And now Inori sending this probe out across the map. Stephano now has his 2 Zerglings out. You see he's sending one straight towards the towers, which does see that probe. He's actually sending the other one up around by the third to make sure there's no cannons, there's no pylons up around here as he grabs his third base. And you see, like I said, again, checking behind everything, making sure there's no probes or anything. And he actually went back there to hide the drone. So Inori would say, okay, he's not expanding or whatever. But as you can see, this playing out exactly as I said in the video. Stephano getting out that second queen, throwing down that expansion after the second queen, getting up those injects as quickly as possible. He did the 14 pool and then the 15 hatch, because of course Inori did not block it. One other last important thing to note is if your opponent goes for a Nexus first, you don't have to worry about him cannoning you out, essentially, aka building cannons behind here, stuff like that, or you don't really have to worry about it, simply because of the fact that they won't have the Forge on the way yet. They won't really have the minerals. And now Stephano, unfortunately for him, did not notice this probe. The probe is going to go and scout, but you see, of course, the vision of that hatchery very small, and this is a key point in this game. We see the probe actually managing to get up here, and Stephano has no idea it's there at all. Now, he is sending an Overlord that's probably going to go up. It's going to be able to see these bits of the high ground, but it's not going to see this probe. You see the probe is sitting all the way up here. Now, what Stephano does is, of course, he's a very good player. Again, always watching the minimap. And we see Inori getting the +1 and the gateway, or the warp gate this time, so both well on their way. But we see Stephano, he leaves one Zergling out here, one Zergling right here. Between these two, there's not going to be a probe that gets out of Inori's base that is going to hurt him, or that is going to be able to set up a proxy pylon that Stephano's not going to know about. However, he has no idea about this because it got out before this Zergling was in position. And unfortunately for Stephano, that is dangerous. You have to make sure you do not let there be probes out on the map. Now, of course, there are 2 Zealots and a Stalker out now. And one quick thing I want to say, when I'm playing on Shakuras, I always send a Zergling up here. I have it check all around the edges of this. I have it check all in here, because this is one of the most dangerous places in the game for a proxy pylon against a Zerg player. You see, Stephano will not... Oh, he does know it's there now, luckily for him. So he knows there's going to be some kind of push coming. The problem being that there is still a probe up there. There are 2 Zealots and a Stalker hitting, and Stephano does not really have that many units yet. He's only at 43 on the workers, and he's immediately switching into that Roach Zergling production. But there are already 4 Stalkers being warped in at his base right here. And at this point, you see Stephano doesn't really have a whole lot of units. He's sending Zerglings as quick as he can. He has the Queens. Keep in mind, this is before that range upgrade. They still only have 3 range, so not nearly as effective. But Inori's units have +1. He has a pylon on the high ground that he can warp in with. And Stephano is going to be sending out a lot of Zerglings and a lot of Queens and Roaches. And you see he's doing as much damage to the Stalkers as he can with the Zerglings. But those Roaches with that +1 and a cannon on the high ground, decimating those Zerglings, and now Stephano is forced to micro around with his Queens, trying to keep them alive. Very nice transfuse right there, but that Queen is still going to go down. More Roaches popping out, but you see the Roaches are just not cost effective in these small numbers versus Stalkers, especially when the Stalkers have that +1 doing that extra damage versus Armored. And unfortunately for Stephano, the other Queen does fall, the Roaches do fall, and you see Stephano just running his Zerglings. He is sacking his 3rd expansion. And once again, we see Stephano in that situation where he lost his 3rd expansion. He's kind of in some trouble. Now, Ling Speed is about to finish. That is one great thing for him. But as I've said, when you lose your 3rd expansion against a Protoss that went for a fast expansion, you're in trouble. So Stephano does have Spine Crawlers here now. He's throwing down a Creep Doomer to help him spread the creep a bit more since he has the energy. He might have missed a few injects. I guess that's why he would have it. He's a good number of Zerglings and a good number of Roaches, so he is going to be going ahead and engaging as best he can. But he doesn't want to lose too many of the Zerglings, wants to try and be cost effective, wants to try and engage by these Spine Crawlers. He does not want to lose his Queen, and the Spine Crawlers do pop up, and that is going to be Stephano's cue to engage this. None of the Spine Crawlers dying, and all of them doing a fair amount of work. Even if they do not have a lot of kills, they did so much damage. A bunch more Zealots and Stalkers warping in. How many gateways is Inori on? 2, 4, 8 gateways. Holy crap. Yeah, that is very scary. And the other thing to note, that's pretty all in. If he had not killed Stephano's 3rd, he would have lost the game, essentially. So, here we go. Stephano trying to hold off. The Spine Crawlers doing a whole bunch of damage, a bunch of Roaches, and now Stephano has started to get that critical mass of Roaches that he needs to hold off this push at least. The Roach speed is about to finish as well, and of course with that creep spread, it'll definitely help him out. And Inori, with the proxy pylon back here, we'll have to see, is he going to try and warp in with any of these? Is he going to be able to deny the 3rd longer? But no, Stephano's going to be pushing out across the map, pushing Inori back to his base, but Inori is confident that work has been done. He is now up by 10 on the worker count. He is in good shape. He is on equal basis with his opponent. And once again, there's that robotics facility. There's that Twilight Council giving him the blink and to let him get that +2 if he chooses. And once that robotics facility is completed, I would not be surprised to see him go ahead and start on those Colossi again. So we do see Stephano is going to go ahead and kill these pylons as quickly as he can. However, the damage has been done. Killing the pylons now, definitely good for him, but, you know, it would have been nice if he had managed to kill those earlier, if he had managed to see them earlier. And so that is the danger with the builds like this. And one key thing I will note about the Stephano style is that roughly 8:39-ish minute unit production is perfect. If your opponent does not already have a proxy pylon. Oh god, what did I do? Okay, I think I might have just hit back by accident. We're not in bad shape. Oh wait. Oh god, where am I? What happened? Okay, well I skipped forward. Oh, I hit F, so I guess it skipped me forward a bit. But, you know, whatever. Not the end of the world. Okay, so you see Inori is, he doesn't have a robotics bay up. He's been getting immortals. He has gotten sentries. He has gotten zealots. He is +2 well on the way. And Stephano has a mining 3rd once more. However, Inori has an observer sitting up here, and he's going to be sending some blink stalkers into the base. You see a nice little shift queue with the blink. And there he goes, setting them up, and he does start attacking Stephano very quick with those reflexes. Of course, pulling the drones almost immediately. Going to be setting them back. Oh, and he's going to prevent the stalkers from getting the blink back onto the low ground. So all these stalkers are going to go down. That is unfortunate for Inori. He is going to be trying to pick off some overlords. That is, of course, always a bit annoying, but, you know, with that fungal growth going down, Inori's stalkers are kind of in trouble. But here is a 3rd Nexus going up for Inori. Stephano doing a very good job on the supply, actually. He gained a lot of supply in that, minute or so that I apparently skipped by accident. But, not too much happened in that period. Both players just kind of macroed up. So we see Stephano in good shape. He has 26 roaches, 29 zerglings, and he is on infestors now. However, his opponent only has 8 zealots and 4 stalkers, because, of course, he did just lose a lot, 4 sentries. But he also has 2 immortals and a colossi. And, of course, immortal, colossus, blink stalker, sentry. As I've said, you can't really get more effective cost-wise against roaches unless the units fly, aka void rays, because void rays are really cost-effective against roaches. But I'm going to take this brief opportunity to try and say what I was saying when I accidentally skipped forward. The timing, building units around 8:30, very good if your opponent does not have a proxy pylon, because the warp gate will finish right around 8:15, but if they have a proxy pylon, that means they will be warping in before you start producing units. That is bad. If they don't have one, they'll have to push out across the map, set up a proxy pylon, and then start hitting you. Then they won't hit you till 8:45, 9 minutes, in which case you are good. They'll warp in 6 units, and you have 10 in production. And if you just are resilient, keep up on your injects, you can be in very good shape. Now, Stephano, of course, can see that his opponent does have a third base. Even if he didn't see it, he would see all the units, be like, okay, he probably has a third base, and he actually does fungal that observer. So very nice for Stephano, denying a bit of vision there for TSLInori. But TSLInori has +3 ground weapons, almost completed. Stephano just now grabbing his 4th, so he is not a base ahead as Zergs would like to be. He is not yet getting that hive. He does have the lair, so that is nice for him. And we see the reason Stephano is doing this, you do see him do this on occasion, is he gets the spire and he does not get the hive because he sees his colossi count, but he says, okay, I don't really need broodlords yet. I can take this army if I get rid of these colossi right here. And so what he'll do is he'll make, say, 10 corruptors, and the corruptors just smash through the colossi, and then they can engage on more equal footing. But we see TSLInori very quickly catching up to Stephano in the supply count. He is exactly equal with Stephano now. We take a look at the workers. We see Stephano is only ahead by 5, meaning his army supply is smaller than his opponent's. And as opposed to being this, it is only roaches, only zerglings. He does have spine crawlers. He does have infestors. But it looks like TSLInori, about to hit maxed once more, knows that his opponent is not going to be getting that hive yet, knows that his opponent's not going to have broodlords on the way yet, and this is his time to engage. You see, those corruptors do so much damage before Stephano's army can even reach it. He's sending the infestors forward, trying to fungal, but he loses 2 or 3 infestors right there to those force fields. Now Stephano is going to be trying to engage, sending in the zerglings, but you see the colossi are just killing the spine crawlers without the spine crawlers even being able to hit them. A few of them have maybe a few kills, usually 1 kill, 2 kill, 2 kill. And of course, these spines are really good. They're buying Stephano time to build those roaches. But now TSLInori finds a kind of weak point. Stephano's going to try and put more spine crawlers down right there. He is going to be engaging, fungling, delaying the army as long as he can. But you see those corruptors died very quickly. Stephano's army dying very quickly to all those colossi. The spine crawlers finally getting themselves rooted, adding a little more defense. But we see now TSLInori, he says, okay, you have spines rooted over there that you unrooted from somewhere else. That means I'm going to swing around where you didn't put them. And we see Stephano microing those spine crawlers around, trying to defend as best as he possibly can. But TSLInori is going to be pushing in for round 2. Stephano once again going to be fungling, trying to postpone the army for as long as possible. 1 colossi does fall. The second colossi getting very low. Is it going to fall? The second colossi does fall. Is the third one? The third one does fall as well. So that is actually a great victory for Stephano. But you see, now he takes those colossi out, and he's like, oh crap, all I have are these stalkers to deal with. But these stalkers are very, very scary with the blink and that +3 attack, +1 armor. They're going to be doing so much damage to Stephano right here. So you see he's now retreating to his 3rd. He's going to try and defend that at all costs. He's 20 roaches, 20 zerglings in production. But oh my god, the huge offensive blink coming out from TSLInori, sniping that infestor, sniping all those drones. The 3rd expansion falls so quickly, getting almost 2-shotted by that army. Stephano's queen trying to run as quickly as it can, but there it goes down. So Stephano has these few units up here. He's having them hold position, trying to use them as a distraction, and he's sending all his units to his natural. He's trying to hold. He's currently fighting for his life in this tournament, but we know he's probably not going to be able to make it wide because it said so in the last game. We see these roaches dying very quickly, and Festers with no more energy to fungal. More Zerglings coming out, and there's this Stephano throwing out. Congrats. Good luck. So guys, what happened in this game? Once again, it was not necessarily scouting this time, and again, not knocking down Stephano in any way. He is amazing. But TSLInori, being one of those Korean players, was able to research his opponent and exploit his weakness. He knows Stephano did not scout, and he knew if he could get a probe out, if he could get Dark Templars out, Stephano could be in some trouble. And so this is why I would recommend for anyone looking to do this style, simply send a Zergling, check all up on this 4th expansion, or if you, you know, the 4th expansion that you would take, have your Zergling check all around it with the Zergling. You have to be very thorough, because say they keep a probe down here. If you have your Zergling just checking right here, you're actually not going to see that probe, and that can end up killing you. I've never seen a Zerg player hold their 3rd expansion when there's a pylon up here and they're going for gateway timing. So I'm also going to link to that Red Bull LAN video in the bottom. That is another example, fast 3rd, something you cannot do the max 12-minute roach against, and you will see Rhett play it off beautifully. You will see what you should do with your opponent taking very fast 3rd in Zerg versus Protoss. Anyway, I hope you guys learned from this. In the comments, if there's anything else you want to see in Zerg versus Terran, Zerg versus Protoss, Protoss versus Terran, TVT, PvP, whatever, let me know. Follow me on Twitter at AlexStarcraft, same spelling as my channel. And other than that, have a wonderful afternoon, everyone. Thanks for watching.